When baseball was born in the mid-19th century, its name was still two words, baseball. The rules were different, and so were the uniforms and equipment. But since the mid-1990s, hundreds of teams in the so-called Vintage Baseball Association have been honoring that era. But finding a reliable vintage baseball bat was no easy trick until a woodworker from just outside Columbus, Ohio, got the bright idea to make a better bat. Few appreciate the crack of the bat like Charlie Trudeau. A woodworker by trade, he joined the Ohio Village Muffins vintage team in the early 1990s. But their vintage bats literally cracked far too often.
They shouldn't have been breaking at all. I mean, it's not like we're facing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs.
The bats weren't made to be used, they were souvenirs. So teammates asked Trudeau if he could do better.
Some of the old bats were just enormous.
He studied pictures of the longer, heavier, and thicker bats from the mid-19th century.
The heavier the bat, they thought that was the better because the more mass you had, the harder you could hit the ball.
The wavy grains that add character to furniture can actually weaken a baseball bat.
This end,
straighter grains, they make a better bat. His teammates were impressed.
Guys started going, hey, can you make me one? I want my own. Okay. And it just kind of grew somewhat organically.
Other vintage teams began buying Trudeau's bats, and Phoenix Bats, named for bringing back the vintage bat, became his full-time job. The buzz reached minor league pros in the Columbus area, so he made them modern bats, more weight in the barrel, with thinner handles to improve bat speed and power.
You want to get it through the strike zone fast and hard.
Naturally, he began to dream.
I was like, wouldn't this be cool if we could have bats in the big leagues?
Those minor leaguers then began reaching the majors in 2003. And all the while, Trudeau was upping his game.
Even those guys in rookie ball, they're different than everybody else. Changes as small as like a fraction of a millimeter off of the handle, they can feel it.
Trudeau stuck with the white ash to make his early bats, but he became an early adopter of the harder maple and then birch, which is in between.
Ash, birch, maple.
Phoenix customers have included Miguel Cabrera, the Triple Crown winner, and Ohio native Adam Eaton. By 2003, one of Trudeau's teammates, Joel Armbruster, became Phoenix employee #1.
I tell Charlie I regret it every day.
A year later, they went to Italy to buy a computer-driven lathe. It cost more than $200,000. It can cut and sand a bat every 2 minutes.
There's your finished product.
Phoenix makes about 20,000 bats a year, mostly priced between $50 and $150 each. Pros account for about 20% of the business. It's a made-to-order business with custom shapes and colors.
We want to be that high-end boutique bat company, all about quality, customer service.
But Trudeau is really more about bats.
Probably my downside was that I wasn't ever focused in on the business and the sales.
About 6 years ago, Trudeau left Armbruster in charge and happily went back to restoring houses, satisfied that his swings are indeed bringing some vintage joy to Mudville.
I was always, and probably always will be, a production guy.
You have witnessed a great game called baseball.
By the way, Phoenix doesn't pay the pros to use those bats, but it's been known to give them a discount. No bat business compares with the American icon Louisville Slugger, which was sold for about $70 million a few years ago. But Armbruster believes that Phoenix, with 10 full-time employees now, ranks in the top 10.